So the first tip, you are struggling to lose the weight. The first tip is that you need to fix the satiation in your body. Your body is great. It's craving food for a reason. There are many nutritious foods. There are many foods with vitamins in, such as your fruits and your vegetables, but they do not. The information or nutritional facts on fruits and vegetables have not changed in a long time. And since they were done, the soils are more depleted now because of our farming practices that we take to and we have done for decades. Also, so a lot of the vegetables are not as nutritious as they used to be. That is one of the reasons, because of the farming. Now, secondly, the higher amounts of CO2. No one really speaks about this within the industry or the nutrition or fitness world, fitness coaching world or whatever. But the CO2 is sort of diluting the nutrition between the vegetation. So more of the CO2 is allowing for more material, more vegetation material to come, more vegetables to be made. But the nutrition of the soil and it's more diluted, so it's making more, let's say, more cabbages. But the soil they are more diluted because the nutrition has to go into both the cabbages instead of the one cabbage, for example. If, more material's been made and there's less nutrition, so it's been spread thin. And that is, causing a lot reduction in the nutrition. So second tip is that you don't need to eat tons of vegetables to fill up your stomach sack and, bloat yourself and pretend that you're full when really you're not. Because there are some people or gurus that will tell you need to swallow your stomach sacks. I can't talk with these things in. Your stomach sack. To feel full. You don't need to do that. Firstly, the mechanism for feeling full is that you have a hormone. Leptin is reduced when you feel full. Leptin is the one that signals to your brain you need to eat. So you could have a bloated stomach full of vegetables and your leptin could be right high up there in the sky. And you're not going to feel hungry at all. I mean, you're going to feel like you're starving even though your stomach is bloated and you feel full. So that's not a way to fill you up. Yeah, a bit of fibre is important from what I've researched over and over the years, blah, blah, blah. A bit of fibre is important for your microbiome. An elimination diet, like a carnivore diet, can be really good for the short term. And then you hop back onto the omnivore world and even add just a little bit of vegetation, and that will be good for your microbiome. The vegetation, the fibre, acts as a prebiotic for your microbiome. Sorry. Yeah, so that's a prebiotic. So that's important also to have a bit of fibre. Most humans were omnivorous. A small amount of humans, which is correct, were carnivorous. Obviously, still are where they still live in tribal still live in the original tribes. And even back then, there was groups around the world that were carnivorous. Most were omnivorous. None of them were herbivores. None of them were vegans. No, you weren't a vegan. They weren't a vegan? No. So none of them were vegans. No. They were either omnivorous or carnivorous. Mostly omnivorous, so the species was, but there was some carnivorous. Anyway, so moving on. Step 3 is that you need to get up and move your body. Do some resistance training. Use the body, even at a desk. Get the resistance bands. Do the different movements. Learn the planes of movements. You have to learn the planes of movements. What plane does my body move? Why does that do that? Why does this go up? How does my body function? And having some functional movements in your workout routine. Even at home, do some functional exercise. Bam, 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 bam. And then you're done, you know? Do it quick, simple, like that. You know, so resistance training is very good. It's very good to control the blood glucose because it increases the amount of GLUT4 receptors in your body. And these are the receptors that take up the blood glucose and put it into the muscle. So if you've got, you know, sarcopenia coming on, wasting away muscle, or if you're into the 1990s, early 2000s, be fit as possible, just be skinny, nothing matters, and your health doesn't matter. You know, there's actually like people that are way within the healthy BMI range, and they have high amounts of visceral fat around their organs, even though their BMI is 20. What does that mean? Yeah. So that's why. So just being thin and having muscle wasting away, like looking sarcopenic, is not healthy because you're wasting muscle. Having that muscle there means you have more GLUT4 receptors to suck out the sugar out of your bloodstream, the glucose, suck it up, and you have more of those when you have more muscle. So it acts as a buffer to high blood glucose or high HbA1c. So that's why it's good to have muscle development. And that's if you're working out at home, you're working out at the gym, you know? So step 4 is, so again, to focus on feelings of fullness. So you want to feel full, don't you? You want to work out and, feel full. Not work out and feel full. I mean, like, you want to be full after eating. And, so having enough fat, a bit of fibre in the diet will help slow down that digestion. It will help slow down the release, again, of glucose into the bloodstream. And that's a really good, it acts as a buffer, so it's protecting against a lot of metabolic diseases, which are caused by high glucose. Type 2 diabetes, which is 90% of diabetes, actually. So, you know, because some people will say, it's type 1, but type 1 is less than 10% now of, I think, the UK or the US population. 90% is type 2, diet-induced, lifestyle-induced, because it just shows that there is something going wrong with the system, doesn't it, basically? If it's so easy for that to happen over 50 years, for it to go from, like, relatively rare, like, I don't know, it's gone up a lot from what I've read, but I can't remember the specifics. Just focus on feelings of fullness. If you're full after meal, having more fat, having a bit more protein as well, and fibre, reducing the starch amount a bit, then you will feel a bit more full, and then you can go on and not think about food at all. Go on 3-4 hours, have your next meal. Still have your meals though. I recommend having your meals. I think fasting can work for some, but for most, I feel like you're more likely to just binge at the end of the day because you're hungry, especially if you've got that leptin resistance. If you've got loads of leptin, then you're hungry, you're just going to binge on cakes, chocolate. Yeah, so I think, feel full. So that's step number 3, I think. So step number 4, that was number 4 actually. Step number 5, so that is going to be, is to just try and break your goals down into 1 to 2 baby steps. So break them down into small steps. When you break your goals down into small steps, so, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go and work on writing the report, I'm going to break the report down, blah, 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 I'm going to do I'm going to write the hypothesis of the report for today. So breaking those down into small steps, your goals, or even if, obviously fitness, so diet, so I'm going to change what I'm going to be eating. For now, I'm going to change the snacks to ones that are more higher in a bit of fat and protein to help stabilize our blood glucose. So I'm going to do this X, Y, and Z. Instead of trying to change it all overnight. I'm going to start the gym, so I'm going to start 1 to 2 days a week. Instead of just trying to change it overnight and you're going 7 days a week, 6 days a week. I'm going to go 2 to 3 days a week for 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to do these exercises that I've written down, and that's what I'm going to do for the next 4 weeks. And then you slowly increase. Oh, for the 5th week, I'm going to add an extra 10 minutes. I'm going to do some stretching routine here, blah, blah, blah. Done. So it's always about breaking it down into tiny pieces. Even if it sounds ridiculous, you got to break it down into tiny pieces, because if it's all in one big goal, you're going to stagnate, you're going to, ruminate, you're going to do a lot. You're going to think about it and not do anything, and you're going to overthink yourself, and then you're going to want to distract yourself with video games and watching TV and having loads of snacks and stuff like that. So you want to break these goals down into small steps. So there are my 5 steps, if it was 5. They're the 5 steps. If you found this video useful, comment below. If you didn't find it useful, you didn't like what I said, comment, I want to hear what you say. Like, comment or subscribe. And that would be it. And I'm out, and